If you're knitting your shawl and you find you're missing a stitch or two, you don't have to tink back or rip back your knitting. Just sneak in any extra increases at the edge. I'm going to knit my 3 I-cord stitches, and if I'm missing a stitch, I can just sneak it in by combining my increases. So let's say I have to knit front back at the beginning of my row in the pattern, then knit one and do a make one increase using the backwards loop technique to sneak in an extra increase to get back on track with your stitch count. Another place you can add that sneaky extra increase is at the edge of your row. After you work your edge I-cord or garter stitches in your shawl, do that make one with a backwards loop cast on, and then continue with your pattern. So let's say the pattern says knit front back, knit to end of row. Keep on following all the instructions in your row, but use that backwards loop cast on as a sneaky extra increase. If you're missing a few stitches, you could do that for a few rows. Work your pattern. And I like to do the make one increase after a regular knit stitch. You're never going to notice it's there. You could even do a second one if you really need 2 stitches. Knit one, sneak in that make one increase, and get back on track with your knitting. As long as you're working a simple shawl with simple rows without a fancy stitch pattern, you can just sneak in those increases at the beginning or the end of your shawl, and the best place to do it is at the edge. So use that make one with the backwards loop cast on technique. I'll show that one more time for you right-handed knitters. For English style knitters, just twist that yarn and pop it on the needle for the make one with the backwards loop. For more tips and tricks like these, sign up for my Westknits Best Tips workshop at westknits.com. I share a lot of tips and tricks like how to fix your mistakes and how to do my favorite cast-ons, bind-offs. I even share a lot of my design tips and advice for putting color combinations together. So sign up for Westknits Best Tips at westknits.com. I hope you'll join me for a really fun workshop to improve our knitting skills together.